Trip of a lifetime, Holy Land Democracy Tour. I think it's an opportunity to hear stories. Like, what are the experience and stories of the people sometimes we know about, but to go there directly and to hear the stories is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Just hearing their stories in person, right? I think it's going to be a different experience. And
Went to our orientation today. I don't know what to expect, but once again, open heart, open mind, and looking forward to this.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Hi, I'm Joanna Mendelson. I'm the Senior Vice President of Community Engagement for Jewish Federation. And we're so excited to kick off the orientation for the Holy Land Democracy Project.
And from 8:30 on, we had a little icebreaker. All right, beginning with a little get to know you.
We are about 30 days away from our incredible adventure to Israel. Well, we will be taking superintendents, teachers, leaders throughout our educational system to Israel to learn in a 10-day trip to understand the beauty, the complexity, the history, the pedagogy within Israel. And we're here today to kick off an orientation where we are going to learn and get a little bit of grounding and foundational work to understand the ideology, the history, so that we can hit the ground running.
At 9 o'clock, we had a session, a workshop on anti-Semitism. If you ever have a chance to hear from April Powers, I highly recommend Project Sherma. She communicates so well this idea. And I hope that whether it's against Jews or any group, when there's fear and anger involved, we would not respond with more fear and anger, but how can we respond with love and wisdom? Wow, we're having some Israeli food here. Amazing. I'm being fed so well here. I'm already learning so much here, and I'm so appreciative of the workshop that we're having. If I wasn't going to Israel and this was just a professional learning, this would totally be worth it. 10:20, we learned about the birth of the modern Israel. But I do want to share some takeaways that I already have. It is the month of May, and for those of you who don't know, that's Jewish American Heritage Month. So if I were to ask you, could you name one Jewish American that made a difference in the United States, or something that you think is a cultural asset and value, what would something like that be? There are many. So what are some? And it's an opportunity to learn. This could be a module in the future, and I'm working with this group and listening to this group share Connect Ed, and it just seems like it's allowing multiple perspectives to be shared in a field trip to the Museum of Tolerance, and having an opportunity to look at that story. And once again, as we look at one person's story, it gives the opportunity to also look at multiple stories as well. For example, as I think about the diaspora, it's making me actually think about the Korean diaspora as well. When Korea was annexed by another nation, many Koreans inside Korea fled, and Korea had to be Korea outside of Korea. 12:45, the development of the state of Israel.
I think one of the questions that one of the presenters mentioned that was very powerful: who belongs to the land? And many people could belong to the land. And just affirming that many people can have connections to the land, and what does peace now look like for multiple people having authentic and genuine connections to the land.
I often talk about know, tell, listen, and do. So knowing your story, telling your story, listening to your story with empathy and respect, and doing something good with your story. So as we're having the opportunity to hear about Israel, and there's so many complex stories, historical narratives become very important. The stories from multiple perspectives, and just listening to one another. So
very respectful. I think I could totally see him engaging in these very difficult topics in a way that is very emotionally aware and kind and curious.
Doing something good could be perhaps a Socratic seminar where there's civil discourse around the historical narratives, just being able to listen to the different experiences as perhaps a first step to understand the complexity of the region and the story. Ideas on how to encourage conversations and dialogue, which I think definitely go beyond like the scope of this trip, can be used in so many different spaces. It begins with 3 mindsets. The first being curious, and If you're curious and you want to draw out the stories of another person, it's helpful to have a good question. So thinking of questions that really allow the other person to really share their story. Also, we talked about being empathetic and allowing and kind of feeling what the other person is feeling, and that being a part of the conversation. And lastly, there's an element of complexity. This one conversation is not going to give us all the nuanced information to understand everything, but to understand, hey, this is just a step in the right direction.
So when I go on the ground to Israel, I think it's going to help me to engage in conversations more meaningfully.
So we're leaving this conference. It was a full schedule from 8 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. Seriously mean business over here, I gotta say. In addition to that, just amazing folks. There's about 30 people in that room that we are with, and all of them are like educators, district leaders, educational leaders, really like insightful people, caring people, curious people. So I'm very excited actually to go on the trip with them, because I know a part of their experience will not only be going to Israel, but who I'm going with.
I honestly didn't have any words or point of reference to talk about the Israel and Palestinian relationship, and now I feel like I have several paradigms or mental models that I can refer to when I speak about it.